you guys, may the force be with you.
And also,
hello, friends and family. Thanks for taking the time to celebrate the special occasion of Dev and Mary's legal union as husband and wife. If the trajectory of the relationship is something like the beauty of this day, I think you guys are on the right direction. As an introduction, my name is Matt Hirsch, and I've known Dev for a very long time, and I'm proud to call you my brother. And Mary, whether you like it or not, at the end of this ceremony, I'm going to be honored to call you my sister. So I've known Dev for about 35 years now, and never once have I seen him intentionally do anything mean to anybody else. And, I can certainly attest to his profound intelligence, his freaky physical capabilities sometimes. If you guys see him in sports, and I've seen telekinesis, folks. And, also something that I don't see much, and that's honor. I think it's kind of, a dying breed, and, Dev means what he says and does what he means, and so I'm proud to say you're one of the best human beings that I know. Mary, I've only known you for about 1 30-minute Zoom, and last night and a little bit this morning, and I was able to extract a few early perceptions, that I then corroborated with Dev. And, some of the adjectives that, I picked up on, at least in the short time, is, you're a force of stability. You seem extremely confident. You're so comfortable in your shoes, from what I can tell. And, caring, with the animals, it's just beautiful to watch. And, best of all, I think Dev, when I was talking about the other day, he calls you very wise. So that is a really great compliment coming from this guy. And we also discussed about how your wisdom results in great decision-making ability. You have great decisions to not get in trouble, and you make great decisions that if you're in trouble, to get out of it. So, I will say that Dev trusts you 150%, absolutely, completely. And I think that's one great ingredient, a recipe to a healthy, long-term, happy relationship. And perhaps the most other important aspect from my perspective, at least, is respect. And when I asked Dev the other day straight up, do you respect Mary? He, was loud in his response. It was a knee-jerk reaction. And he said, more than anyone he knows. And so then I tried to get a feel for this to make it personal and talk to Mary about, what are the reasons or the rationale behind this marriage? What are all these components coming together? And I got to admit, when I was talking to you, I kind of got this feeling that, you were so cool and calm and collected and kind of were like, well, he's almost a sense of intrigue. I could sense the respect and the admiration, but there's almost like an intrigue there and almost like a playful child or muse. And, it seems like you just took great, comfort and excitement and kind of watching to see what good trouble Dev can get into. And we actually already noted that you make wise decisions, to not get into trouble. But, Dev, you often fail at this sometimes. And this is a story relayed to me, but apparently Dev thought it was a great idea being an amateur drone pilot to fly the drone around inside the house. And I don't know what happened there, but within a short amount of time, apparently you flew it right into your face. And, for anybody that saw the pictures, and I think you texted me, he doesn't normally look for sympathy when he gets wounded. His face had some lacerations and was bleeding. And he was telling me the story recently with, happiness and, just contentness. And he said, I went to, Mary's office. You were working at home that day. And he said, I stood there in the doorway all bloody face dripping. And I said, a little help? And he said, the first thing that you did was burst out in laughter. and just sat there and laughed at him for a while. And while he's dripping blood. And then, you went and attended his wounds. And I really think that the ability to laugh at one another and kind of have a lighthearted but yet caring, relationship is really mature, and it's characteristic of, long-term happy and healthy relationships. And so I started thinking, okay, some of the words I said, force of stability, playfulness, and, kind of a childlike inquisition, if you will. I did some research online, and I looked for other couples or stories actually, or poems or something, to fill in the time right here. And and I came up with some stories from Greek mythology, and it was the story in particular of the sovereign and the muse, and in this, and there's also the artist and the muse and the wonder and the muse, and they all have really characteristic counterbalances for the two people in the relationships, and in particular to me, the sovereign and the muse one stood out. And so as they write, in this quintessential relationship, the sovereign represents structure, order, stability, and the predictable rhythms of the kingdom, while the muse embodies beautiful chaos and represents raw creative energy. The sovereign and the muse are two halves of a creative whole, and perhaps Dev and Mary together form something better than their individual selves by combining aspects of the sovereign and the muse, thus creating a perfect balance. And when I was thinking about how to write this ditty or sermon or whatever it is, I thought the central theme here is balance. And this is something that's inherent in nature. It's written about in religions. It's obvious to see, and without balance, things do not last that long or kind of go into negative ways. So, when I think about balance, in the term of relationships, maybe Paula Abdul said it most eloquently. It ain't fiction. It's a natural fact. We come together because opposites attract. Now, cheesy as it is, it was kind of a cool video. And it's certainly cliche. But these things that are cliche, these things that are repeated again and again, are actually things that are real. And I kind of get the feeling that you guys are really balanced, and this is a kind of a beautiful relationship. So, being rooted in love, respect, and stability, in the harmony of balance, is really hard to find. Most people don't find it. You guys are the 1%ers right now. And, it's hard to find because, it took you 30 years to actually find each other. But you did, and congratulations. And in some ways, this concept is highlighted by Mary's response to my direct question, why do you want to get married? And this was on Zoom, and it was like probably 15 minutes into knowing you, and you smiled at me with some kind of weird sinister confidence. And you looked at me and you're like, because it's time. and I let that go. I wasn't going. I was like, I learned your whys later, but and so I asked him the same question, and I said, why do you want to get married? And he said, well, because he cannot think of any reason not to. And upon further reflection, when there's nothing stopping you, when you have no restrictions, then you will inherently move in the right direction. And I feel that's the kind of what culminated us here today. So then you proceeded to tell me for several reasons, like Mary, how you know it is time. So Mary and Dev, it's time. It's time to enter into the next phase of your lives, traversing hardships and happiness with your chosen partner or teammate that together is a winning combination. And from what I know, I think so too. So, in my humble opinion, you guys have chosen wisely. Mary, Dev, would you join hands and face each other? And Dev, repeat after me. I choose you, Mary.
I choose you, Mary.
To be my lawful wedded wife.
To be my lawful wedded wife.
To respect, love, and grow old with in playful harmony.
To respect, love, and with whom to grow old in playful harmony.
And to unconditionally support, through times of trouble, sickness, and loss.
And to unconditionally support in times of trouble, sickness, and loss.
Well, Mary, it's your turn. I choose you, Dev,
I choose you, Dev,
to be my lawful wedded husband,
to be my lawful wedded husband,
to respect, love, and grow old with,
to respect, love, and grow old with,
in playful harmony,
in playful harmony,
and to unconditionally support
and to unconditionally support
and through times of trouble, sickness, and loss.
through times of trouble, sickness, and loss.
All right, so you guys may have wanted to say a few things yourself, and this is the time to do it.
I'll go first. I just want to say that he is my perfect man. And he actually posted that at least briefly on LinkedIn on the day.
Yeah, that was my title on LinkedIn, was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's true.
When we were talking about this, like exchanging vows, I was like, I'm just going to say the same things that I say every day, which is that I've never felt so supported or loved or understood, and I'm grateful for every moment that we get together.
Excellent. All right, so now it's time for the ring exchange. You guys have the rings?
No, actually, I think you still do. Yeah. You got him, buddy?
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah. Good work, bud. Good work. All right, you guys can release and the ring, is kind of a symbol of perfection, the perfect circle. When you guys wear these on your arm, in your hands, fingers, wherever you may want to wear them, I want you to kind of look at them as a sign of perfection. And as you go through your relationship, try to keep striving towards perfection to make the other person happy and more comfortable, and never just kind of get complacent in this journey that you're going through. So I think this one is theirs. So Dev, please place the ring on Mary's finger and repeat after me. I give you this ring as a symbol of my love.
I give you this ring as a symbol of my love.
Our synergistic strength.
Our synergistic strength.
Synergistic, come on. And my promise to learn and grow with you.
And my promise to learn.
It's your turn. Repeat after me. Place it on his finger. I give you this ring.
I give you this ring
as a symbol of my love.
as a symbol of my love.
Our synergistic strength.
Our synergistic strength.
Well done. And my promise to learn and grow with you.
And my promise to learn and grow with you.
So, friends and family, by the authority vested in me. Oh. Yeah, we got it. Look, they worked through the first teamwork, huh? Synergy.
We'll edit that.
So, folks, by the power vested in me by the state of Minnesota, I now pronounce Mary and Dev wife and husband. You may kiss the bride.
1, 2, 3, 4. All right, yeah, you did it! You did it! Thank you, everybody. We're going to have a couple musical performances. Lisa, I would like to invite you to come up first. While Lisa's getting ready, this is a song that she just kind of sent me a rough cut of one day, and I was like, oh, I'm going to ask her to play this if we ever actually get married.
Ready, guys?
Fingers into too many pies. I saw myself as thin as models in 1999. What I realized is you saved me every time when I fall. You get me up and flying. Well, you're there for me when I felt hopeless. Bring a glimmer of light to every darkness. All this time I could not see, but you were right in front of me, right in front of me. Straight from a movie. feel that to be loved is to be known. You don't get tired of me when I show you every picture on my phone. You just hug me when I make stupid mistakes, and when I mess up my words, you always let me explain every ounce of pain alleviated. You're an angel of love and endless patience. All this time I could not see that you were right in front of me, right in front of me, straight from a movie scene. And you're right in front of me, right in front of me. And I've been searching my whole life, didn't think I'd ever find it, but now I finally feel complete, 'cause you're right in front of me, right in front of me. There's a light in you that I see homing, and when I'm feeling dim, you keep me glowing. All this time I could not see you've been here in front of me. Feel that it must be a dream. How you now mean everything, 'cause I've been searching my whole life, didn't know I was farsighted. Now I finally reached that peak, 'cause you're right in front of me, right in front of me. You're right in front of me, right in front of me. Right in front of me, right in front of me. Thank you.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Snow recedes, promise of a summer breaks the soil. Birds return, certain that the love will too. My heart longs for that summer love, but I wait. But I wait, I wait, I wait. Silhouettes of your love got me. I still feel the fire. It was me long ago, but I wait. But I wait, I wait, I wait. So mother moves on, I watch as the earth is renewed. I feel the fire. It was me long ago, but I wait. But I wait, I wait, I wait. Look at John. John looks good today, right? He wasn't wearing that jacket earlier. He looked like a bum. He put that thing on. before we set up the screen and watch Star Wars and eat pizza and stuff, I would like us to maybe gather kind of right over there outside of the tent, and I want to take a drone selfie of all of us before we break out the food and the drinks. Does that work? We'll see if it works. This is kind of windy. The wind is kind of sketchy, but we'll make it happen.